I know that they're recording, so I will introduce myself. I'm Christian Zuri from the Blue Valley office. And today's Third Thursday, we're going to talk about buyer search portals that are available to us, but not from the agent perspective. We're going to look at it from what your clients are seeing online and how the different portals kind of compare the different content that's available on them, how they look and feel to the buyers, and then some nuances with each one that we need to be aware of as we're setting up our buyers in those. Before we start though, what buyer search portal is your go-to? My Home Search, Matrix.
My Home Search, I'm trying to use that a little. I have 4 on Zap too.
I'm trying to use that, but.
So I think a lot of people get scared stuck with the new search portals like a Zap that's available, and you just end up using the same thing that you get used to using. So, which I fall into that exact same category. It's quick, it's easy. I was a My Home Search diehard. Everybody went into My Home Search. And then I started using Matrix in tandem with My Home Search. I tried to fall in love with Zap when it came out, and then quickly fell out of love with Zap because of some nuances. Through this process of preparing for this class, and I'm going to tell you what I did, I am back to in love with Zap, and you'll see why as we go through this presentation. The idea today is not to discount or not to steer you towards one or the other. It's just to show you what I found looking at it from a client perspective. So what I did is I set up Betty Buyer with her own Gmail account and then set her up in all of our different search portals. So there was My Home Search, there was Zap or BHGRE. As the clients don't know it as Zap. The clients know it as the Better Homes and Gardens home search tool. It's BHGRE, that's what the name of the app is. That's what it looks like from a website perspective. And then Matrix from Heartland MLS. Set Betty up on a search from Matrix. And then CloudStream, which is one I had never used before. And I was curious about the functionality of it. I've talked to agents with other companies that love it and that use it all the time, that think it's better than Matrix. It's better than the search programs that they have. And then I did take a look for Betty at some others, Zillow and HomeSnap. I didn't, for the purpose of this presentation today, there's not information in here about Zillow and HomeSnap. There is one slide about Zillow just to kind of show you a difference of what the email alerts look like. HomeSnap is great for a Matrix mobile app in the field for agents. It's a quick tool to share things with your clients. What you can't do in HomeSnap though is set searches up. So it really doesn't fall into the category of a buyer search portal. So it got removed out of the running for the sake of this presentation. So we're going to focus today on My Home Search, Zap, CloudStream, and Matrix, and show you the differences in each of those. And so the differences, kind of the big high-level ways that I looked at this and tried to dissect it for Betty, was speed. How quickly are the alerts coming? We all know in this market it is critical to get speed with the alerts. That was one of the big headaches that I had with Zap when it came out, was the speed to the clients was terrible and a huge complaint. Visually appealing. How does it look when it comes across, when these alerts come across in email, whether they're looking at it from their computer, from a laptop, or their phone? How does it look? Is it visually appealing? Is it easy? And then search functionality. That's a big thing. You know, how can they search? How can we set searches up? And what are the options there? Communication features. This is the two-way communication between the client and agent. So what communication features are available in each portal? And there's some pretty big differences. And then the content included. So from a client side, what information can they see? What are the differences in the information they see from each of these different portals? So we're going to start with speed. So I set Betty up with a Gmail account and set her up on all of these searches, and my phone went crazy with all of the email alerts. But I wanted to see if there was a huge difference between the speed that I was getting alerts on the four main portals. And note the difference. I ranked them. I went and did I pulled 6 different listings out of the group from the last 2 weeks and just looked at the different times on them. It varied a little bit. Number 1 was number 1 every time. And it's going to surprise you what number 1 is. And the others kind of flip-flopped a little bit. There was a tie for number 2. Number 3 was number 3, pretty much every example. But there was never more than about a 2 to 3, sometimes a 4 if it was an overnight listing that came on. It was never that huge of a difference. So really, in the reality, they were all pretty darn close. But number 1 was CloudStream. That always came through fast. That was always the quickest, which surprised me. I really thought it would be Matrix. That's the hub. That's the mothership of the information getting put in. You would think that the email alerts would come through Matrix very first, but they didn't. CloudStream was first every time. And then second was a tie with Matrix and My Home Search. And then third was Zap. So those are my findings with speed. That's going to be a pretty short topic because it's pretty cut and dry with it. But just to give you an idea, I know that was a big complaint from the get-go with Zap was how quickly the agents and the clients were getting alerts.
It can be 3 or 4 hours difference.
It can be a 3 to 4 hour difference. Sometimes it was less than that, but typically it was anywhere between about a 2 and 4 hour difference. And the difference between CloudStream and Matrix and My Home Search was anywhere between 10 minutes to 2 hours. It just kind of depended. Okay. So now we're going to look visually at each of the portals. And what we're going to look at first is how the email alerts look, what information is on them, how they come across. So how visually appealing, easy to read were the email alerts? Was there a difference, huge difference, between looking at the email alerts from your desktop versus mobile? And then what information was included in the email alerts? I think it's important. We talk about speed, but then it's also content. What content is on those email alerts? How hard is it for the client? How much information is shown? How hard are we making it on the client to get the critical information they need? The list price, the address, the critical information. Are we making them click through to see pictures? What information is on those? So I've got some screenshots to show you of each portal, and then we're going to take a live look. I'm going to log into Betty Byer's Gmail account, and we're going to look at what they look like live. So this was My Home Search, and this is just a screenshot from my laptop of what the My Home Search emails look like. I'm going to give you my perspective on these. Everybody is going to have their own perspective, but I'm going to give you kind of how I felt when I got these. Lots of words, not very pretty. You can't really see the links that are up here because they turn blue on you. And there were no pictures of the houses, so they have to click through to see pictures. The one thing that frustrated me is that if you click on the address, you are taken to a Google map, not to the listing. You have to click on View Listing to be taken to the listing details. So that was kind of frustrating, but I kept clicking on the wrong thing. So this is the email alerts for My Home Search as they looked on my iPhone, which I have a 7 Plus, so I've got a pretty large screen. But this is what it looked like. Basically just a shrunk down version, the same exact words, the same amount of information. It was just shrunk down onto my screen. This is big. It's blown up. Very hard to read on a small device. So next one is going to be what the BHGRE or ZAP, what we refer to as ZAP, looks like. So this is the email. Nice big picture is displayed, which I like. If there is no photo, there's just a little gray photos coming soon picture. You have the what search it came from, property address, price, bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, how many days it's been on the site. Most of these came on these are new listing alerts, so they've been on 0 to 1 days, but you do get price change ones as well, just as you would in My Home Search and in the other portals. So it's good to have that information on there. They can see how long it's been in the system. And then there's a button here. You can click on the individual listing and be taken to listing view, or you can click on all of your, you can click on the see save searches and go right to your save search. That was not an option on My Home Search on those emails. You could click on the individual listings, but there was no option just to log in and see everything.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
The other one, there were 3. Does this give you like 3 separate emails?
No. Sometimes there'll be sometimes they'll, and we'll go in and I'll show you a live look at these. Sometimes it'll be, there's 3 new listings, sometimes it's just 1.
But this isn't the same search?
Yeah, no.
Same day or whatever.
No. Not the same house. And then down here is contact information for the agent. Phone number, which is cell number. Depends on how you have your agent information, your profile set up on Zap, but you can't have your cell number on that. And then there's a button to ask a question. So direct communication right from this email alert. Come on. So here's how it looked on my phone. This is 2 different screens. So on the Zap, I had to scroll down to see the secondary information. So that was shown on my screen, and then if you scroll down, this picture is shown on my screen. Same information that was on the email, it's just shrunk down. Picture is now a little bit bigger versus the words, but exact same information on here. Feel free to stop me at any time and ask questions, or if you have comments, or please. Okay, so Matrix. That's a screenshot of what the Matrix email looks like. Not very pretty, pretty basic information. If there is not a picture that accompanies the listing, it's just going to show a gray coming soon, photos coming soon picture. The reason I keep saying that is it's different in CloudStream. There's a difference there, which I kind of liked that feature. But this is a price change up here and then a new listing down here. You've got the MLS number, the address, list price, the status, which I think is kind of irrelevant. Bedrooms, bathrooms, so basic information here. And you can click through to these listings as well. You can also click through, there's a click to view listings up here. That'll take you to your entire search, not just the individual listing. So there is an option in the Matrix emails to click on to go right to your search versus to go to individual listings. And then the mobile view, same information, just shrunk down.
I got an entirely different one from Matrix on mobile than you have up there.
What does yours look like?
It doesn't show any pictures.
So the picture should be right there.
Yeah, and I never get pictures on mine.
That's odd.
Is there an H
And I mean, even if it's a different.
display rather than a line display?
Well,
It could
no,
be
it
the way
should
that
be
you
the
get
same.
accepted.
It should be the same, but it might be something with your phone that it's not downloading pictures. It might be a setting, when you set up in your email, you chose not to download all pictures.
Oh, okay.
It's a setting on your phone, probably. And then CloudStream, this is what the CloudStream emails look like. It almost looks like a mobile view in an email format. So again, you've got a nice big picture, critical information, price, address, bedrooms, bathrooms. This one does have square footage. Something that's cool about CloudStream is right from the email display, they can favorite a house. When they click that, it sends you an email that they have liked this house, that there's one that this client likes. Nice for the client to have this right from this screen. They can also view details on this one, and there's a link there to view their entire, they call them streams. So as opposed to it being a search, it's a stream on CloudStream.
So, I'm sorry for being brand new, I'm a month and a half into it. Where's this CloudStream generated? Is this the Matrix CloudStream?
This is from Matrix, yes. So it's a separate product. It's not, there's a Matrix search. You can set up a Matrix client portal. CloudStream is an add-on to Matrix, but you get to it through Matrix.
Just like with the Cloud CMA?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep, exactly. Cool thing about CloudStream is it's the only portal that also texts me. So it's texting me as Betty Buyer that there's a new listing and here's what the text looks like.
Oh, really?
So do you think that the Zap will be texting soon? Because
Yes,
I hope so.
I think that's a feature that's coming very soon, which is nice. So it was, as I started looking at this and looking at it from the client perspective, it became, and I think it'll become clear to you as we start going through this, that Matrix and My Home Search are very similar, very, very similar products. CloudStream and Zap, very, very similar products. You'll start seeing as we go through each of these kind of big high-level topics, the similarities between My Home Search Matrix, Zap, and CloudStream. Here, this is the only page that I have in here on Zillow, but I want to show you what the Zillow email alerts look like, just so you can get perspective. I know I've got clients all the time that are searching on Zillow, looking on Zillow, sending me emails from Zillow. I think it's important for us to understand what our clients are out there looking at and what they're attracted to visually as well as information-wise. So visually, this is what the Zillow email alert looks like. Very similar to the Zap and the CloudStream emails. Visually, very, very similar. It's obviously just not branded. So I want to go in now and take a live look and show you what these emails look like live. Yep. I'm going to go back here. So I searched Hemlock. So here are, I'm in Betty's Gmail account here. So these are all the different email alerts that she got for this house on Hemlock. So the first one that we're going to look at is from, where are we? My Home Search. So again, this is what it looks like. I just want to show you that the screenshot really truly is representative of what it looks like in her Gmail account.
And Hemlock is the only one that's brand new. And the other three are on there also?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's always seemed confusing to me, like it adds more to it. Or
When you're doing push notifications, if they all are coming on at the same time, it pushes them all out together. So very common, and that happened with all of the different portals, that you'd get multiple. The only one it didn't happen with was CloudStream on the text alerts. You'd get individual texts for each one, but you might get 3 texts right in a row, which is a lot.
So
Especially at 2 in the morning.
So when you set up a search, so what was happening is they'll receive the 105th and they'll receive that more than one day in a row then?
No, they'll just receive this once. When it comes on, I've set up, her search criteria that I set up was Overland Park. I think it was 250 to 400. So every time a house comes on the market within that search criteria, she gets an email one time that says, hey, there's a new listing. Now, if the house changes price, I had it set up where it would also email her changes in price. So in My Home Search on the agent side, when you're setting it up, you can control the type of emails that your client's receiving. So they can receive new listing, they can receive open houses, price changes, change in status. There's all sorts of different options that you can set clients up. For this example, I just use new listings. Okay. Some of the price changes are in here too, because that was an option that I always default to. But this just gives you an idea of what these look like live.
That's from My Home Search.
That is the My Home Search email. Okay.
That's the Matrix email, I thought you said.
Here's Matrix.
Matrix has pictures.
Matrix has pictures. Biggest difference I found was My Home Search doesn't have a picture. I have to click twice to get a picture in My Home Search. And I also found that My Home Search, I kept clicking on the wrong thing. It's hard to tell what verbiage to click on, what's live and what isn't. I always wondered why I would get, when I set people up on My Home Search, I'd always set them up to get emails when they log in. Mm-hmm. And have you ever wondered why you get 15 emails in a row? And you're like, what are these people doing? It's because the emails are so hard to click on. And then it keeps logging you out, and you've got to click on it again and log back in. It's not very intuitive on the client side, I found, and all of a sudden the light bulb went off. I'm like, that's why I get 15 emails in a row. Because they're
But if
keep
they
getting,
use the back browser, you wouldn't get that many.
no.
So the people who are real computer literate know to use the back browser and they don't have
Yes.
to log in again.
But I will show you, when we get in a little bit, a couple steps further, I'll show you why it's confusing and why, like, a little bit deeper into that, why I think that they're getting confused. So again, same information, but just want to show you what this looks like from a live perspective.
So it's 4 listings, I'm just trying to, so it's gonna be. Okay, thanks. I'm sorry, I just wanted to read it.
And then this is the Zap, what the Zap emails look like. Nice big pictures, which I like. Words are nice and big, which I like. It's just easy to click through. And then your contact information is down above. The one thing I noticed about My Home Search is the emails, your eye immediately goes to that big green banner at the top. And it makes it all about me versus it being all about the house that just came on the market. That's the information they want. They care less where my contact information is. If it's on the bottom of the email, they just want the information and want ease to get to it. And I think, no, you can't click through. Never mind. Okay, okay, this is CloudStream. So this house didn't have pictures when it came online. So in all the other portals, you would get a blank, just kind of a little placeholder that says photos coming soon, a grayscale thing. In CloudStream, which I really liked, it showed a map. Instead of it showing just a blank picture, pictures coming soon, it actually shows a map, which is kind of nice. So I think valuable content for the client if there are no pictures. Again, right from here I can click this, like it. When you click that, it will take you into the search, but it's already liked it. You don't have to click anything else. And it has now sent me as their agent an email saying that your client just liked this house.
It's funny, it had a picture when you click through, but it doesn't have it on this page.
It doesn't have it on this page because when the email was sent, it didn't have pictures.
So they have
Yes.
them afterwards.
So CloudStream, because it's so quick, the speed, remember we talked about speed with all of these, and CloudStream was always the quickest. Oftentimes I would get maps because the photos weren't up yet, because that's how quick it was.
Oh, wow.
So that's a good and bad thing, right?
So could you show us how this person would get to the other 2 listings?
I'm going to show you that in just a few minutes after we look at just visually on the mobile
Oh, it's
alerts.
not on their email?
This one, I just searched Hemlock, so on
Oh,
this, in CloudStream it came through as a separate email. On some of the others it came through grouped
I didn't know you
together.
did the whole search, I'm sorry. Apologies.
It's kind of confusing because the email alerts as they were coming through, some of the listings came through single, some of them came through as groups of listings. It just kind of depended on when the alert came out.
Okay.
But your client, obviously, you probably just set them up on one of these, so wouldn't be as confusing for them as it is for Betty getting 8,000 emails. Okay, I want to show you next. Oop, I need to go back into there. We're still going to look visually here, and we're going to take a look at what. Hold on one second. I'm going to go back. I want to click through on this really quick first before I show you these mobile ones. So I want to look real quick at what it looks like when you actually click through on each portal visually, what it's going to look like. We're going to come back to this in a few minutes and talk content. Right now we're just looking visuals. So My Home Search, if I clicked on, you know what, I'll just close all of these and we'll start in emails. So we'll go to My Home Search first with Hemlock. And we're going to click on Hemlock. Oh, I clicked on the wrong thing. Takes you to the map. Frustrating. Okay, so I have to click View Listing. So this takes me into the listing details for this particular listing. Things I notice right away, very, very busy. lots of stuff going on here. There are some great features that we're going to talk about with communication on here that are right at the top, which is nice. The favorite, the not interested, the show me this home, print the home, email, share the home. Those are great tools communication-wise that we're going to get into. Aesthetically, though, I love how big the picture is. That's awesome. Again, you've got a quarter of the screen taken up with the Better Homes and Gardens brand and my information. Which you'll see a difference when we go into the other ones where they make it more about the houses than the agent, which I think is good for clients. Again, they just want the information. The more information you can give them with the least amount of clicks and the least amount of scrolling is better. We want them to have the easy button. The one thing that took me a while on here to figure out is how do I get from here to the search? This is why I get 15 emails, because there is no back browser. Anybody know how to get from here? Listing view, if I want to go look at, there were 2 other listings that came on. I want to see those too.
Is that blue to homepage?
That is it. It is hidden up here. Not very intuitive for clients. So you click on this and you get taken into your searches. I do like that it pulls everything new up here. And then you've got everything else that you've looked at down below.
I like this because if I have a client that's on my home search, I can go out and see what they're liking, and if I have, I have a client that searches at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh yeah.
I like to go in and see what's he looking at.
Right.
What's he marked a favorite. Because then I have something to call him about and follow up and say, hey, I saw you mark this house, you want to go take a look at it, blah, blah, blah. It kind of starts a dialogue. So for that reason, I like this search.
Yes. You're going to see when we get to the communication piece that they all have that,
Okay.
which is nice. And some of them make it a little bit easier than others. The one thing that most of the others don't have that makes my home search unique is discarding listings. So the not interested button. The only other one that has that is Matrix, and they can discard listings. But my home search Matrix are the only ones that can do that. The other ones can't, which clients like that feature. They like being able to say, nope, don't like it. Get it off my screen. So that's kind of a quick little tour of visually what happens when you click through these emails on my home search. So let's go back and let's look at what Zap looks like when you click through. So here's our Zap email. We'll go down to this one. Again, you've got, it has me logged in, so clients wouldn't normally see this little banner up here at the top. Actually, I take that back. Yes, they do. Disregard that. So here's a listing detail. You do have to scroll a little bit in Zap to get to the meat of the listing. The picture is huge, which everybody likes big pictures. It's easy to scroll through the pictures, but you've got to scroll down to get to the real meat. But you've got to think about it from a client perspective. What do most clients do when they log into these? They go straight to the pictures. They click through pictures and then they're done. And if it's intriguing, then they might go down and look at additional information. This does have information requests, communication tools right there. It has it in multiple places, which I like. It has it right up here, request a showing. It has it right down here, ask a question.
Does that send you a text?
It does. It sends me a text and an email, both, which I like that feature.
Did you set it up that way, or is it something that it automatically does?
It automatically does that. I had mentioned on here you've got the shareable buttons right here, Facebook, Google, you can email, which is nice. None of the other ones have a Facebook shareable button. Of course, right now you wouldn't want your client sharing it on Facebook because just breed more competition.
Matrix does.
But I like, again, on the save, and we'll get into this with communication, but I like that you've got multiple ways here for the client to interact with this and for it to interact with you. And then you have the ability up here to put in a new search, or you can go back and look at your entire saved search. So if I go to, I can't remember now how I get to my, back to my search. I don't think I'm logged in. Oh, maybe I am. I don't think I'm logged in, which is why usually it would show me up there. You have a little tab to get back to the search that was set up.
What's a BHGRE life blog?
That is from Better Homes and Gardens. You can also have your own blog on here if you'd like. If you're a blogger and you want to link your Zap page to your own blog, you can have that. But this is a BHGRE blog that's put out by corporate, by national. Lots of different home tips, kind of encompasses all aspects of life, really. But there's great content on here. So that's visually what client sees on the Zap side. And then I'll show you Matrix. There's Betty's new listings. So all of these came through at once. We're going to click on Hemlock. So this is Matrix, what client sees. Whatever I have saved in Matrix, whatever you have saved in Matrix is your client banner is what's going to come up. So if you don't have anything saved, there's going to be nothing there.
Can you say that again?
So in Matrix, you've got the ability, when you print off, you've got the ability to customize your banner and your email signature. This is the customizable banner.
Okay, got it.
That's one that I did that I loaded in there.
Okay.
So forever ago, and I need to probably change it. Pretty basic functionality in here. This is really kind of very, very basic information. Again, you've got to scroll down to see the full, nice big picture, but you've got to scroll down to see the full thing, and then you've got to scroll down even further to really get into the meat. The meat looks a lot like My Home Search to me. Very, very similar. And that's because My Home Search was designed to be almost like a client matrix, a client MLS. The only communication tool that's kind of front and center on this one, you've got up here, you've got the favorite button. You click that, you've got to click save as a favorite. You can save it as a possibility, so a maybe, or you can discard. This does not communicate back to the agent. The agent has to log into the portal to see if they've liked, discarded, done anything with these listings. So that's downside on Matrix. There's not a great communication tool back and forth with Matrix.
So if they put a note on there, is that the same? We have to go into the portal to look at the note?
Yes.
We don't get a notification of it?
Yep. So if I hit back to results from here, this is going to take them back to their client portal. I like this view. I think this is a nice view for clients. It shows map of where these houses are, and then over here there's a list view.
And this is everything.
This is everything that's on their search that I've set up. What they cannot do in Matrix is set up their own searches. Matrix is output only. It is what you set up for them. They cannot go in and create their own searches. So that's one of the things that can be frustrating for clients using Matrix, is that they have no control. And we all know that clients like control. They like to go out and search, and we like them to go out and search, because all of a sudden they're setting up searches on My Home Search that is $100,000 more than the price point you set them up, and come to find out they just got a job promotion and they can go up in price. You wouldn't know that in Matrix. It's output only. But they can click here and see what their favorites are. You can click on that as well as an agent. They can click here and see their searches. Again, they can't create them. Messages, this just shows them all the emails that came through. So these are all the emails that Betty Buyer got on this. And then any property notes that they've added. And then you click My Agent, basic information. None of that's clickable, linkable. It's just static information. CloudStream.
Which CloudStream again is the fastest.
CloudStream is the fastest, yes. And CloudStream is, I think when I click on this and you see this, it's very similar. As I was looking at them, sometimes as I'm taking screenshots and putting this presentation together, I'm like, is this CloudStream or is it Zap? It looks very similar. I like that the top of it is pretty streamlined. It's not busy. It has my photo up there and my information, but it's nothing crazy. It's kind of all about the house in CloudStream. It's not really about the agent. It's about the house. I think the picture, while it's big, it displays a little bit better than some of the other ones. And then you don't have to scroll as far for kind of gory details that are over there on the right-hand side.
Your name stays static up there.
It does, yes. It does. In CloudStream, they can edit their stream, but you cannot have more than, I have not figured out how to get more than one stream going at a time for one particular client. It could be an option. I am not, up until I did this little experiment, I had never used CloudStream before. So I'm kind of learning, self-teaching myself CloudStream just for the sake of this. I don't know if you can have multiple streams, but from what I've seen so far, you cannot. It's one stream, but the client can edit it. They can favorite houses. That sends me an email that Betty just favorited a house. She just liked a house. And when we get into the communication details, you'll see a little bit more nuances with this one. They can also leave messages.
Do you get a text or something if they leave a message on this?
Yeah, you do. So visually, this is what CloudStream looks like from a individual listing standpoint. And then if I click My Streams, this is really clean, really, really clean for buyers to look at. It's nice. Here's where they can edit their criteria. They can filter this view so they can see liked, disliked. There is a disliked on CloudStream, and any ones they've made comments on. And then alerts, they can set up their notification settings here if they want to get text. As I mentioned, CloudStream right now is the only one that's giving text notifications. I like that, again, right from here, they can click the favorite, they can click the send me a comment or make a comment on it. Really pretty easy. If you click the X button, it takes it off your search. It's one of your disliked. So CloudStream to me, as I got further and further into it, was probably the easiest from a client. It's the most user-friendly, easy to use for a client. It's got some bells and whistles with content. It doesn't have bells and whistles from the agent perspective. But I just liked how streamlined all of the alerts were in the site. So I want to show you real quick what it looks like. Again, we're going to screenshots because I can't put my cell phone up here on the screen. This is what it looks like if I clicked through the email alerts on my mobile phone. This is what the screen looked like. These are going to be hard to look at because some of them I had to scroll and do multiple screenshots so they're next to each other. But this is what my home search mobile looks like when I clicked through. Come on.
Wow.
Basically took everything that's on the website and shrunk it down. It is so hard to read. I mean, it is so hard to read. You cannot possibly read this on a phone. You have to scroll and zoom. It's mobile responsive now, which is good. It just doesn't blow things up. There are some websites that are mobile responsive that blow the picture up, blow the text up. This doesn't do that. It just shrinks everything down to whatever size your mobile device is. So really hard to look at from a mobile standpoint. This is what your full search looks like from a mobile device. This was actually taken from a big iPad, not from my iPhone. But again, just same information, same look as what you pull up on a desktop. It's just shrunk down to whatever screen size you're using. This is what the Zap mobile looks like. So when they click through, when I click through my Gmail on Betty's search on my phone, this is what came up. This was the first screen, the second and the third. The difference with Zap is it has an accompanying app to it that the others don't have. So they can either click through and use this version, or they can download the app that's branded to you, and the app and the website go hand in hand. You don't have to set up separate profiles, separate searches. Once they log in on the mobile app, it's tied into the email alerts they're getting, it's tied into the website that they're looking at online on their desktop, which is, I think, makes it superior to the others in terms of flexibility of use on different devices. So lots of information, but it's shrunk down so you can actually read the words, which is nice. I did like go back to this for just a second. I did like on the mobile view how these down here stay static as you're scrolling down the entire time. So that's always up there. That save, the directions, and the contact are always there for them. This is what it looks like if they were to download the app. This is what it looks like on a mobile device, the app. So very similar to the last screen. This is just from the app perspective instead of it being a mobile website. Again, these stay static. You've got a home button, a search button, a saved, and a my account that stay static the whole time. And then there's a map view too that it shows. Okay, Matrix Mobile. Matrix Mobile actually looks a little bit better than Matrix Online. This is the individual listing view. We still have the banner up at the top that I saved, but as they scroll, basically takes all the information that was on the website and just stacks it. Makes it a little bit easier to scroll through. CloudStream, this is what the CloudStream view is on mobile device. Again, I think it's very similar to the Zap view. It just stacks everything, makes it easy to scroll through. This is what the entire search looks like if you go to your saved searches on CloudStream from a mobile device. It stacks everything for you. Okay, let's talk search functionality. What time is it? We'll talk search functionality and then we'll take a little break. So probably the most important thing to agents is how to set up searches and how user-friendly to the agents these are to set up searches for our clients. What we need to keep in mind is that, like I said, the clients like to have control. They like to set up their own searches as well. So I looked at this from a client perspective, but you're going to have the same search options really from the agent side. So first, My Home Search. Everybody in here familiar with My Home Search and have been in it? There's a gazillion ways to set up searches in here. It's awesome for us as agents because it's like MLS. It's like, there's no difference really in the search options you have in My Home Search versus what you have in MLS. They're almost identical. What is not great in here from a client perspective is there's almost too many options. If you're setting this up for your clients, it's fantastic. It's awesome. If the client gets in here and starts setting it up, it's a disaster. I don't know if any of you have gone in and logged in as your clients before and seen how many searches they have saved. I've gone in and they have like 50 searches saved because they can't figure out how to get what they want. I don't think it's as intuitive as some of the others in terms of setting up searches. It's awesome for us. Don't get me wrong. It's great from the agent perspective, not so great from the client perspective, in my opinion. This is a screenshot of what the Zap search functionality looks like today. They've enhanced this quite a bit since it was released. This was another reason that I broke up with Zap, because I couldn't handle the search functionality. I was so used to MLS and so used to My Home Search and the endless options that I couldn't wrap my head around not having those endless options for my clients. Then I had to remind myself, my clients aren't used to having all those gazillion options. They're used to searching in Zillow where they have fewer options than this. And this is okay for them. And it gives us enough information to set up a viable search for them that's useful.
I fell out of love with Zap because it was my understanding that clients had to set their own searches up in the beginning. Is that true? I mean,
It is not.
changed now?
It is not. They can set up their own searches. what happens is from the agent side, you set up a search for them, and in Zap, it's called recommend a search. You don't save a search. You recommend a search. It's semantics. You're saving the search for them. It sends them an email that your agent has recommended this search, go in and view it. And then they can go in and view it. You can have multiple searches set up on Zap as well. So you can have a couple that the agent has recommended and the client can have their own. But you can set up searches for them. It's just not the same as My Home Search is what we're used to, hitting that save search. It's just a little bit different, but it's very much the same.
Was this a desktop or a mobile?
This was desktop.
So have you fallen back in love with this now that you've accepted?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I have. There's still some nuances that I'm not crazy about, but I'll get over them because it's like I tell clients, you're 85% perfect on a house, right? You're never going to get 100% perfect. Same thing with these. And this has the 85% that I want, and I can deal with that 15% that it doesn't have for right now, knowing that there's enhancements coming too, which will just be better. So you do have this is the search that I had set up for Betty up here, just the basic details. When I clicked more filters that was up here, it brought up all of these. So you now have a lot more search options in here than when it first rolled out. You can search in here by property type, which I like. It's very easy to search by property type. There's still some stuff in here. Keep in mind that Zap is a national site, so there's still stuff in here that's not going to compute for us, that's going to be confusing to us because they call it something else everywhere else. The one thing that I've had to wrap my head around and just kind of get over is we are so unique in Kansas City because we have 2 states. We are the only MLS that is really split 50-50 between 2 states. And so the engineers at Zap have had a heck of a time trying to figure out how to give us the search options we need when we are such a diverse MLS in terms of geography. We have a lot more counties than most MLSs have, and then you add in the fact that we have 2 different states, it's challenging. For instance, when you go to school district search, you can type in a school district and you type in Kansas City and it doesn't say Kansas City, Kansas or Kansas City, Missouri. It says Kansas City, USD, blah, blah, blah. So you have to know which one the Kansas City, Kansas school district is versus the Kansas City, Missouri. It's little things like that, oh my gosh, is it annoying? Yeah. But again, that's a 15% that I'll live with. You can do keyword searches. You can do lot features. Not that we have a lot of harbor front or waterfront houses here. Again, there's search criteria in here that you're probably never going to use. It does have features now that you can search that it has a basement, has a dining room. It's kind of weird, but okay. Has a family room, okay. Master on the main floor. Well, that's just a story and a half, but okay. You can put in parking spaces, styles, heating and cooling. Again, a lot of places don't have air conditioning or don't have heat. So this one has the option that if you don't have heat or air conditioning in here, in our area, you might consider it. Don't know how quickly you're going to sell your house. You can also search up here by number of days on market. Maximum HOA dues, which is a newer feature, open houses, just listings with photos, and then listing type. I was helping somebody last week with some Zap stuff, and they were getting really frustrated because in the searches, pending and or backup and contingent were showing up in their client searches. In My Home Search, it's an option for us not to show those to clients. It isn't in Zap. Zap feeds just like the other third-party portals do. So just like a Zillow feeds, a Realtor feeds, any of the national portals, backup and contingent, when it goes out from MLS, those are still considered active houses. They can still be shown. So they still go out under active because there's no other way to feed those out and have them match up when they're going to these hundreds of different websites. So they go out as active. So that is a nuance in Zap that you cannot not show them backup or contingent. You can select to not show them pending sales though, or foreclosures.
But it shows somewhere on there that it's
It does, yes. It will, there will be a flag on the house
Okay.
that is much better than some of the other, like Zillow, it just says it's active. If I, in HomeSnap even, on the agent view, it still shows that it's active if they're in chauffeur backup, which is frustrating.
If you go clear to the bottom, it shows
Yes.
the fine print at the back.
It does, but you would think on an MLS app that it would show backup or contingent and status versus active, but it doesn't. I would love to get it changed. It's on my list. My list is long. Priorities. You can sort over here by short sales, foreclosures, new construction, or fixer-uppers. I've never set up a search with fixer-uppers, so I don't know what field or how they're qualifying those. If it's an REO, I think it'd go into foreclosure. I just don't know. We don't really have that field that matches an MLS, so I can't wrap my head around what would pull up. I'll have to go in and play with it. Do we have that field now?
That field.
It's on
Does
our-
anybody use it?
It's on our worksheet.
No,
I've never-
Nobody uses it. Well, then that's helpful. It's like square footage.
Right.
Then not helpful if nobody puts it in. There's also additional search criteria down here, advanced search criteria. You can search by city, you can search by zip code. You can now search by neighborhood. It is not perfect. You can search by subdivision. They're having a hard time ZAP engineers of figuring out our neighborhoods versus subdivisions. Again,
Waldo Brookside is just.
Waldo Brookside, is that a neighborhood or is it a subdivision? Is Romanelli Gardens a neighborhood or a subdivision? They're having a hard time. They don't know that. They have no idea which
So
is.
subdivision's not very accurate either.
You might, one of them is more accurate than the other one. I can't remember which it is. I think it's neighborhood.
I
Or
think subdivision's more accurate.
They have the
It's
longer
actually
list.
pulling it by
Yeah.
subdivision, yeah.
Neighborhood is the one that's not very accurate.
Makes sense.
You can search by school district. You cannot search by individual school, but you can search by school district. You have a proximity search. So if somebody says, I need to be 10 miles within my kid's school, preschool, you can go in and do a proximity search for them. You can also search by MLS number and by address. There is a map search tool as well where you can draw a polygon map, and that's how I've gotten around the individual school thing, is I've done map searches for them.
And where is that?
That is, you have to go in, once you set up your search, then you can go in, it shows you a list view, and then you can click on map and draw your map. So I would set up, like, if I had somebody that only wanted Shawnee Mission East, I'd probably set up a Shawnee Mission School District search with all their criteria, and then once I hit the search button, I would go in and draw the map of where Shawnee Mission East was, and then recommend it to them.
Which is more accurate anyway, because
Not everybody puts that in or knows. When school boundaries change, oh my gosh, trying to get agents to know school boundaries is not easy. Okay, matrix search functionality. Big question mark, because it doesn't exist for clients. Matrix is output only. Input from the agents, output for the clients. The clients cannot set up or modify their searches in MLS. Just doesn't happen. Why is that there? Oh yeah, clouds. We haven't even talked about CloudStream. Okay, so CloudStream, this was the biggest knock I had on CloudStream, was their search criteria was awful for clients. This is it.
But it's easy.
It's easy. It's very simplified and it's very easy.
It's going to give them way too many houses.
But it's going to give them so many houses. So many houses. When I went in and set it up on the agent side, it was I had a little bit more detail. On this side, I didn't. Now what I didn't do, and let's look at it real quick. We'll just, again, like I told you, I'm learning CloudStream just like you. Let me look at my streams. Let's look at edit criteria. I wonder if after you hit search, you can maybe filter a little bit further. So here's Overland Park. Nope, you can't. That's it. That's all your search criteria. So very limited. You definitely can't search school district. It's good. You can do a map search, but very, very limited. You can't do floor plan. You can't do
type of house.
Yes. Really, really pretty website. Really pretty graphics. Really great. It's fast, but the search functionality of it, it gets like an F for me. Honestly. It's a pretty tool. It's like a gorgeous car with no engine. Okay, we'll take like a 10-minute break and then come back. We don't have that much more to go, and then we'll kind of just do questions, and we probably have maybe a half an hour more of content, if that. So we'll come back in about 10 minutes and get going. And then if you have any questions, feel free to either come up or save them for the group.
Very good, Christian. This has been very helpful.
Yeah, really helpful.
It's really helpful.
It was amazing to me. I have been like the diehard My Home Searcher. Like I'm not changing. I tried. And then I'm like, I'm just going back to it because it's what I know. I know my clients are going to get the alerts. But when I did this and started looking at it, I was like, this is what they're having to look at on their mobile phone? This is terrible.
So now based on.
Harper's going to kill me for saying this.
Yeah, no. Are you?
But it's awful.
Are you now CloudStream or are you Zap?
Zap.
I see.
And I'll show you why when we get in the communication piece, because it's,
Do you set it up for them on your phone or on the desktop?
I set it up on desktop.
See, I don't think I've ever even been to set desktop.
Another thing to learn, right? It's another thing to learn.
I just want to ask you that question.
There's an Engage.
Patrick, yeah.
That's coming up on Zap, and I think it's actually tomorrow afternoon.
There's one tomorrow afternoon. Patrick McDowell teaches it he's from the Liberty, he's awesome.
Where is that going to be?
It's here.
Oh, it's so
It's
helpful.
here. Sign up for it. I was going to tell everybody at the end to sign up for it. I think it's 1 to 3 tomorrow. I'm not,
I think it is.
So, because I know Annie's doing hers tomorrow. Annie's
Annie's doing hers in the morning, and then
hers
Patrick's,
in the morning. The Patrick.
yeah, Patrick's in the afternoon with
She's
Zap.
in the morning, and then Patrick's in the afternoon.
So you can just stay here all day tomorrow.
You can, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, we have.
We only have a big screen, so you can go out there and watch basketball in the
Yeah, we'll
meantime.
have basketball game.
I don't know, not sure who you're cheering for. I can't tell.
I don't know, yeah.
But I think that's one of the things that you guys need to watch is under training. There's an education calendar, and Better Homes and Gardens is really bringing on this Engage and our training, third Thursdays and everything. And so it's really a neat topic, and the Engage is an ongoing. So if you miss it this month, it'll be back in another month and everything like that. So watch for it.
It'll be ongoing.
Filming these things for the most part, right?
And
Because
Yeah.
I've watched a lot of the third
Yeah.
Thursdays.
Well, and he felt Patrick did a third Thursday, not last month, but the month before. He did a third Thursday, and it was it was packed in here.
Right.
And he was going to do comparison. He did comparison of Zap and My Home Search, kind of what we're doing today, but not quite as deep. He did a lot on Zap that day, so go back and watch
Has
his
it been
video on
added
that
yet?
because you'll get. I think
Because
so.
that one was professionally
Yes.
videoed, and I don't know if it got added yet. Yeah, it's under education. Yeah, and make sure you log in. I'm always constantly
Yes.
telling our agents, I can't find this tab. Log in the upper right, your 12-digit
Yes.
long password.
That is the longest, most
That-
convoluted password.
That's usually what I have to say
Those are
is
the
log
ones that
in,
can't be
long
hacked.
password, then you'll find
Get it
it.
on my laptop because it's saved.
Yeah.
So you get in 4 hours.
So the one thing I did learn from him that was so helpful was my vanity URL. It's made it so much easier for me now. So I just have, I did GoDaddy. There's so many, I researched what choices. And it takes that huge, long,
I have not got it.
You say password, I mean long URL.
Yeah.
And now I just,
That's what I like too about Zap is you can do your vanity URL to it.
that's what you said,
Yeah.
yeah. I just feel like you, and it's so great.
I
You
haven't
actually can
done that
do,
There's so many.
You need multiple URLs
you
to
You
it.
actually can do,
The search thing, look for.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no.
The
You
BHGRE.
can do that too.
Yeah.
So what you can do when you set GoDaddy, you can choose which one you wanted, but it was just like, it makes it so much easier, because that one
I've not
just,
done that yet.
you can get confused.
Really quick,
That's
one
one
first, but I don't like when they click on it, I really.
It is.
So
I don't even know.
try to learn how to
Just
just
on the back.
playing for each of them.
I was thinking.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
I just
people
use
use my home search and they click it.
Yep.
I was thinking, how many did
That's the
Janet
one
have?
nice
She
thing
had
that
way over
KCH
4,000.
does is it has kind of that,
You know, she is
it gets you to everything.
Okay, so I had this client here, I had years.
So KCH
That,
agent
you know,
is
I could show things to and.
Our in-house.
in-house,
Local.
which
of
is my
everything
home
here.
search and they're local.
I didn't think she'd ever, I honestly didn't know.
So if you go right now, even if she did all that, you
Yeah.
don't even have to
Way
worry,
over
but get your
4,000
house. Then you go up to learning
And then,
and
when I
that's
was
all
on the
about
bar, I was just,
She wasn't killing
I
anyone?
wasn't doing her service or me a service.
Is
So
that
I asked.
KCH.
My name's much
Yeah.
more.
And then,
So Zach is just.
Now,
something
after
like
Christian's video gets out and nobody's using it anymore, it may be going
I know,
away.
I'm like, corporate's gonna kill me.
No, you're
But
absolutely.
you have to use what, you have to use what buyers,
As good as it is for us as an agent, we're here for our clients. And it's what our clients need and see.
it is. Well, and it's,
Now, as much as I want to stay for the last half hour, I have to go order pizza for a break.
oh, yes, yes. Please
There's
do.
some game on that everybody's like giving me money to order pizza.
I might have to come back here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come back here and watch it because I don't wanna go all the way south. I gotta go back up north. So I'm like, and Layla is gonna, my mom's gonna take Layla and she's gonna be here, so I'm just gonna bring Layla here. And-
So what time is the game? I'm not obviously.
1 o'clock.
It's on at 1 o'clock.
I don't hold them from a different state.
My noon inspector better go quick. And we're like, roof foundation good, we're out.
This room looks great.
See if you can get there early and get it all done.
I did an inspection with them on Tuesday and I was like, now you do know.
Who do you use?
These two I used Doug Horde at First Choice.
She's fighting with the city of Oakland Park now about a tree.
If everybody is ready, we can roll back in and then,
Tree.
Want my water in there? Is that still recording during this break?
oh yeah, it is.
Good, as I'm walking around.
I know. Hopefully they edit that out, but do they edit out the breaks during Third Thursdays on the videos?
For the people that duck out.
That's good. You're right.
We love Zach.
What's that?
You should say we love Zach.
Yeah. Okay, so next thing we're going to talk about is communication features. And the communication features I looked at were how easy was it for the buyer to communicate back to the agent. And then I'll also show you, I don't want to get into a ton of back-end stuff on the agent side because this is really more about what the buyer is seeing. But I wanted to show you how quickly the updates come to your emails or your mobile devices on these. So on this I did just a check. I was trying to figure out how to make this information pretty concise. And I'll go into a little bit more detail as we get back into each site. But you've got each of the 4 portals up here along the top. And then this is kind of hard to read and I apologize. Some different communication methods and which websites have which. So on My Home Search, we know they can favorite a house, they can add a note, they can do a showing request, and then they can discard homes. What they can't do is send you a question or open up a line of communication with you like an email back and forth from My Home Search. They can respond to your email alert and it'll come to your email, but within the My Home Search program, they cannot communicate with you in that type of a forum. The other thing about My Home Search that I found that some of the other portals offer is that the agent doesn't get notified when they favorite a house, when they add a note, or when they put not interested on a house. The only time the agent gets notified is when they request a showing. Unless you can get notified when they log in every time. I think we all know that. But as far as the communication with the client and the agent, the only time that you get really notified to your email is when they request a showing. I was going to say something and now I just lost my train of thought. I'll move on until I can think of what it was I was going to say. Okay, so Zap BHGRE. In here, you have the ability to favorite, add notes, do show requests, and there's an open forum where you can ask a question. I'm going to show you how to do that. And then there's another feature that I'm going to show you as well. In there, there's some other communication tools in there. We looked at it the last time we were in there, and I touched on it for a second. But what I liked in Zap was there were multiple ways for them to communicate. It wasn't just one button. They were all over the place. You can't miss it in there, how to communicate back to the agent. What I did like about Zap was it's instantaneous. When they hit one of these buttons on notifications back to the agent, I get it not only on my phone in email, but I also get a text message. So I'm getting notified both ways, which is awesome, because as we're on the go and out in the field, sometimes I don't check my email, but I can see a text message, or vice versa. So I liked that dual communication back to the agent. Okay, Matrix. Again, kind of similar functionality to My Home Search, but dumbed down even more. They can favorite, they can save as a favorite. Remember that little button? They can save as a favorite, save as a possibility, or discard. That's really all they can do in Matrix. And you don't get notified as an agent. You have to log into their search portal and see what their favorite is. You've got the little heart, the trash can, and the light bulb next to them that you can see what they've done in there. But there's really no, again, think of Matrix as output only. There's no input. It's not interactive. It's just pushing information out. Good information, valuable information, but it's just pushing it out. There's no two-way communication. And then CloudStream had all of the options really that Zap and BHGRE did. You can favorite homes. The one thing that I liked about CloudStream that they have that nobody else does is you can like right from the email alerts, which is great. The other ones you actually have to click and log in. You could add notes in there, the showing requests. There is an open forum to email back and forth. And you can, I missed the checkbox on that, you can discard houses in your CloudStream. That was something new that I learned at midnight last night. So it didn't make it into the PowerPoint.
So is Zap aware of that and that's something coming? Because it's the only thing it's missing.
It's not the only thing that it's missing, but yeah, I think it's, yeah, it's on the list with Zap.
Okay.
There's probably some higher priorities on there that need to be addressed before that is, but. So I want to show you, so I did a quick search. I logged into my email here and I did a quick search on Betty and all the communication as I've clicked on things and kind of noodled around all of these different tools. So during our break, I clicked on, this was on CloudStream. I clicked on, oh, this is from when Betty edited her search criteria. So remember we talked about how awesome it is to know what your clients are doing and what they're searching for? CloudStream will notify you of this, which is awesome. And it comes pretty quickly. I mean, we were in there and it came instantaneous. This is Betty liked a house when we were in CloudStream a few minutes ago. This is when I clicked on the, from the email. Immediately I get an email message that she's liked a house. So now I don't have to log in and see what she's doing in there. I get automatic emails. You're going to get a lot of emails. That's the downside. The good side is,
Look at your email. You're going to be in trouble.
the good side is that you know exactly what they're doing and you don't have to go out and seek it or search for it with both CloudStream and Zap. Matrix and My Home Search. Matrix, you definitely have to go out and seek it. In My Home Search, you really have to go out, unless they hit the Show Me button, you've got to go out and look and see if they've set up a new search or modified searches or favorited, added notes. And I want to log in and kind of look at the different, I know that we looked at them a little bit when we were in here previously, but just so you can get kind of another just really quick look again at the communication tools and how they look now that we've talked about the functionality available. So Matrix, you've got the not interested in the favorite. You've got to click over here for show me the home. You've got the print and share down here. Up here you've got agent contact information. I do like that you can click through on the email. It's not just static, it's a live link, so they can click that and send you an email. And then down below, you've got the note section where they can save their comments. So that's communication on My Home Search. On Zap, and I was saying this a second ago, that I really liked that it's all over the place. So up here is contact information for the agent. You can, again, live links, you can email, you can call, and then down here we've got, this is now grayed out because Betty already requested a showing on this house. And then you've got a tour of the home. So on this, the buyer can select whether or not they want to send a show request or if they just want to ask a question about it. So if she just has a question, I think I did one yesterday just as an example that was, is this really a wood shake roof? And you can send that to the agent as a question versus a showing request. Or, what are your thoughts on this one? Do you think it's worth seeing? You can favorite and unfavorite houses right here, which is nice. And then as you scroll down, Betty's already done all of this on this home, so it's all grayed out. But she's requested a visit, she's requested more information, and she has saved the home. And I've gotten email alerts on all of those actions. So it's in here, like I said, multiple times. The client can't miss it. Matrix, again, we don't need to go back in there because it has nothing. On CloudStream, get back in here to our search. Oh, let me go back because I do like that. So from here, kind of like on My Home Search, where from the main search screen they can hit the 3 buttons, CloudStream is very similar. Down here they can hit favorite, they can hit the kind of the talk button. This is a way to send, Betty already sent an email the other day, but she can send another message on this. And again, it comes to my email. But you can do that right from the search screen. And then of course, once you're in the property, you can do it as well. It's not, they don't have it as many places as Zap does, but it's pretty intuitive as to where it is. You can't miss the big heart and the big discuss this home. Any questions or comments or feedback on the communication piece? The one thing that as I mentioned, I don't want to get too far or get down into a rabbit hole with Zap and with the back-end functionality, but know that there's the back-end communication tools for the agent on Zap are endless. They have drip campaigns, that are really designed not for clients necessarily that you're just trying to stay in touch with, but for clients that are actively searching and actively in the market. They've got great drip campaigns. Excuse me. The communication tools with Zap, I found, are superior. And the options that are available are endless if you choose to take advantage of those. Excuse me. Okay, so let's go back to, we're going to show you content now. And I'm going to show you our handy little checklist first. I guess I should probably play the show because then the clicker will work. Okay, so I want to look at what information we're giving the clients. We've looked at how it looks visually. We've looked at how quick the email alerts come. We've looked at the search functionality. What information is actually shown to them? We've got enhanced MLS information, which all of them have. Walkability score. Zap and CloudStream have walkability score. The other two do not. Great schools info. Zap and CloudStream have great schools info. Differences, and we're going to go in and look at this, differences on Zap, it actually shows the score and it shows the proximity to the house, how far away the school is from the house. CloudStream, it shows proximity but no rating, but you can click through to that. Price history. My Home Search shows price history on current, it shows that it's when the price is reduced on the current listing. It doesn't show you price history in the past. It doesn't show you what the sellers might have bought the house for and when. Okay? Zap and CloudStream show that. Recently solds nearby. This is something that Zap just started doing, and it's far from perfect. When you pull up Overland Park houses, you'll have stuff in Waldo that comes up. They're working through this, but it's there. But again, Zap, remember I said I feel like Matrix and My Home Search are very similar features. My Home Search is kind of a dressed up, souped up MLS for clients. I feel like Zap and CloudStream are very similar. Here's the meat of why I say that. A, aesthetics, but B, the content that's in there is very similar on both of them. And then there's additional content that I'm going to show you as we get in. You're going to be blown away at what the clients have access to on CloudStream. So let's look. By home search. Okay, so here we've got the MLS information. You've got the description, the map. You do have different map views, which is good. The directions. This information in here is only as reliable as the person that input it into MLS. So if information wasn't into MLS, the one thing My Home Search is not doing is they're not pulling public record like some of the other portals do. They're just pulling directly from MLS. So again, if you don't have room dimensions, the agent didn't put them in, you're not going to see it on here. You're going to see rooms and then nothing's going to appear there. No additional third-party content in My Home Search. So you don't have walkability scores, you don't have great school information, and you don't have public record. Okay? Souped up MLS without all the links that we have in MLS. We're not even going to look at MLS because it looks just like it's the exact same information that you just saw in My Home Search. Let's look at the content that they're seeing in Zap. Up here, I do like up here in the display features that they've got the school district right up here. You don't have to go search for it or scroll down to look at it. It's right up here. Price per square foot is in here, which is nice. It calculates that. It does calculate right up here under the list price. It calculates the mortgage for you. I know that that's also in My Home Search through First State Bank, but you've got to click through and input data in there for it to show you what the mortgage would be. This one, it just shows up.
What's that based on?
I was gonna say it's based on.
It's principal and interest based on a 30-year fixed at
3.38
with
So does it adjust based on
59,000 down. You can click on the calculator.
20% down, so.
20% down. You can click on the calculator and change things. Change your options in there.
This is My Home Search still, right?
No, this is Zap.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said.
Where was the
okay.
calculator?
Right underneath here. And then it's also at the bottom too.
Oh,
So you can get to it from here, right underneath the price. Can you see this okay? This one's hard to see. You want me to turn the light
But
off?
to change it, you click on mortgage calculator.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
It's also, if you scroll down to the bottom, there's a mortgage calculator section at the bottom. So you've got the additional search or additional map views here. All the websites pretty much have that. This has your description, again, that was put into MLS. Here's your walk score. If you click on that, you're going to be taken to walk score, and they're going to give you more information on where they come up with that data.
Do buyers know what walk scores are, or is that something?
A lot of them do, especially in urban areas.
If they book on Zillow, they know.
Yeah, it's on Zillow.
It's a big thing on Zillow.
Okay.
Here's any notes that the buyer has put in. And then the MLS, kind of the down and dirty details here. Again, this information is just as good as what was input. I do like how they separate out utilities, so it's not buried with other information. A lot of the sites will bury it with interior information, and it's hard to pull that out. Any additional information, current taxes are in here. There's your subdivision, county, etc. Now, this is coming soon on ZAP, and that is home value estimate. Sounds a lot like a Zestimate, and that's what it is. It's not a Zestimate, but it's going to be a ZAP version of what the home value estimate is, and that's because they're pulling in public record, and they're also pulling in recent solds. So they've got a lot of the same data that our RPR is pulling in to come up with their AVM, that Zillow is coming up with their AVM. It's going to be incorporated into ZAP very soon. Yeah, which everything your buyers want is right here. It's right here. Price history. This is for this period of time since the house has been active. If there are any price changes or if it went under contract, that would all be listed there. Here's your school information. You've got ratings right here. Now, it's pulling in like I think it's the 6 nearest schools, so it might not be every school that this house feeds to. And that's just the way that Great Schools ties in. You're going to see kind of the same thing in CloudStream. So they've got to scroll up here and see, oh, it's Trailwood Elementary, it's Indian Woods, and it's Shawnee Mission South. Okay, so go down here. There's Trailwoods, there's Indian Woods, Shawnee Mission South is down here. The reason Shawnee Mission South is at the bottom is because it's the furthest away.
And maybe this may be too much in the radical, as you say. If it's a KCMO and all you do is within the KCMO school district, will it pull down below and show the ratings of the school?
I don't know. Why don't we'll click in one in a minute.
Okay, great.
That'll be something we can do. Saved places would be anything that your client has saved, like they want work. And I think this will populate. I don't need to put a suite number in there. I spell it. Oh, yeah, that's good. Okay, close. Yeah. Okay, oh, good. Look, my work's 3.1 miles away from this house.
From here?
Yep,
From that house?
from that house.
That's really cool.
That's nice.
And I think that will now come up on each house that I look at if I'm logged in as Betty Buyer.
So if you
So-
save this on one search, like this house,
I believe so. Let's look. Let's make sure. Go back. Come on. So click on the one at the top. Sorry, I'm making you sick by scrolling so fast. Yep, it's right there.
cool.
So I can save my work, my husband's work, my daughter's preschool, say whatever I want to there.
That's amazing.
And then we have a bunch of recently sold homes in Waldo. Again, it's a work in progress. Like with any technology, it's constantly ebbing and flowing here. This is data that is very, very new that's being fed out. Not a lot of websites, our competitors are not showing this, and we are. It's going to take a while to get it perfect. But the fact that we're going to display this information is pretty big, and it's going to be really, really valuable for buyers. This is the information they want. They want to know the comps. They want to go look at the house, but they want to make sure they're not overpaying for the house, right? They've seen everything that's come on the market. They just don't know the neighborhoods like we know the neighborhoods. This gives them at least a snapshot of, is this house priced right? Okay, it doesn't give them our valuable insight, but it at least gives them on paper, is this house in the range, or is this a $250,000 house in a $125,000 neighborhood? This one is, because we're pulling in Waldo houses that are priced at $90,000. But know that this will get fine-tuned. You can click on show more. You can see a whole list. It's also showing you the sales price, what they sold for. That's the big differentiating factor. Some websites are now showing recently sold homes, which is great because you can see there's activity in the neighborhood, there's movement going on. We're actually showing the price. So good, valuable information here for buyers. Okay, public record information. This shows you what the county, what public record is showing for this house. So lot size, year built, square footage. So even if the agent didn't put this information into MLS, you're still going to have access, your buyer's still going to have access to the information because it's going to pull from public record. Down here is your mortgage calculator. And then other homes for sale nearby, quick links basically to 3 different searches. There's a city search, a zip code search, and then a school district search, quick links for them.
So for those buyers that are not as familiar with all the terminology and everything, is there a glossary of terms of some sort?
That's a good question. There probably is. I've seen a glossary of terms in general, not necessarily for ZAP, but
Okay. And I just have a little click on it and it gives you the definition. So
I don't think that there is in all of these. This is also more information, more links here to nearby searches. Again, one of the nuances, it says Kansas City, Missouri. We're in Overland Park. One of those nuances with the way that our market is. So that's content, that's what buyers are seeing and the information that you are providing to them on the ZAP site. Let's look at CloudStream. Basic information. This does have a sold price on it, but I've yet to click on a listing that, you know what, let's go back and see if I can. I feel like I click on that one all the time. See if that one has it. Yep. It has a sold price. It looks like it's displaying or can display, but it's not feeding. So everyone that I've clicked on, I've never seen a sold price come up. I keep clicking on the same houses, and it's not like I've been in it for a really super long time. So yeah, it's been about 14 days. You're familiar with the discuss section here. The details that are in MLS are here, listed nice and clean, although they're just kind of all jumbled together. I liked in ZAP how it displayed the headings of each section, and it separated some things out that were a little bit easier to read. Like the schools are in here. Well, they're kind of buried in. They're right down here. I liked in ZAP how it separated out the schools, so you could easily scroll to that section and see what the schools were. That way, when you're looking at the great school information, you know what you're looking for. So down here, any change history, so any action since the house originally went active, this period of time, or this MLS number. Down here, you've got walkability score, a little bit more souped up than ZAP. You also have the nearest 15 restaurants and their ratings. So you can see what's nearby. Nearby restaurants. I wish they would do nearby Target and grocery stores because I have a rule that I can't live X amount of miles from Target. That would be more helpful than knowing where Subway is. But that's just me. So that's all powered by Yelp. It's walkability score, but the ratings, those are all powered by Yelp. So these are just third-party plugins, bolt-ons to this system. This is where it's going to blow your mind that people have access to this if you choose to give it to them. Parcel information. You ready? There's your tax information, your bill. Yeah. That's all good. History. You've got when they bought it, when it got when the latest deed recording happened on public record.
Could you scroll up a little bit, just a tiny bit? Okay.
That's the down and dirty details. Lot size, year built, number of stories, legal subdivision name. This tells you what the loan value was and who they got their loan through.
You said if we want to show that, can we?
This is the client view. I'm in Betty Buyer.
No, but can we
Yeah.
click it so our buyers cannot see this?
No,
Oh.
you can't.
And that's on CloudStream.
That's CloudStream. Some of these go on for pages of all the public records every time it's sold. I love this information. It's great for me. I use this information all the time from RPR and from Realist.
Right.
Giving this to clients can be dangerous because they're going to think, oh, their loan's only for 120 and they have it listed for 300. I can wheel and deal on this one. They have no idea. They don't know the context.
Right.
A lot of them, I shouldn't say they all, a lot of them don't know the context of those numbers. And sometimes you'll have, like you've probably seen it in RPR, where you'll have, it looks like the last loan was for $50,000. Well, that was a home equity line of credit. That wasn't the original mortgage. So you actually now have 2 mortgages slapped on this property, and the total's 300. And the buyer's going to look at it and go, oh, they only owe 150. So I think it's kind of dangerous information to give them, but it's there.
I'm surprised it came.
Other agents are providing it.
That seems just like HIPAA.
We're a non-disclosure state, so it surprises me that this is displayed.
And that's the loan amount, that's not actually how much they owe.
No.
So
Yeah, that was the original loan amount. They could have paid it off.
You were 12 years
They
old.
could have, yeah, you don't know. You don't know. You can surmise from that number if they've made their payments about what they owe, but you don't know. Here's school information provided by Great Schools. This has a much longer list of schools. And it has the proximity, but it does not have, you can click on these to go to the Great School website, but it doesn't have the ratings right there. They have to click through to see the ratings. That's what people want to know. They want to see the school ratings. Proximity is, yeah, okay, we know it's close. It's going to be the elementary school that this house feeds to. But what's the rating? That's what they want to see. They want to click to see that, and Zap has that, which is good. Any question you have about content, what's being displayed, or questions, or do you want to go back and take another look at any of the content?
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
So you said in Zap, the client can't delete a search or click not interested, just to get rid of it, or I mean a house. So can the agent clean up a search for them if they know they?
I don't think so. No, I don't
What's
think
their
there's
name
any
there?
way. I'll ask the question because it might be there and I just don't know that it's there. But I don't think there's any way to get rid of them or to move them to a different search.
Yeah, that just sounds like you're gonna have a gazillion on there.
Right.
Well, the good thing is you log in, the ones that are the newest are up at the top.
Okay.
So
If you go to list, does it show in a different, like a thumbnail?
this is list view. These are kind of the thumbnails of each house. If you look on map, it'll show you a map view. This is how you can go in and draw. Remember I showed that, or told you all that you can go in and do a map search. This is where you do it. It's convoluted to get here, which is, I couldn't find it last week and I thought they had gotten rid of it. Until Patrick told me the other day that no, it's still there.
You just click to map and then you,
So map, and then I can do draw, maybe.
yeah.
Like you have to hit, I don't know what you have to hit on this computer to actually draw.
You have to click on the, do it.
Oh, there it
Like,
is.
Just like you're gonna do a
Is
text,
it that?
a text box. No, see, you just do isn't it a left click? And then just like you.
It's not a left click.
There.
Oh, there. That's awesome when that happens. Figure that out eventually.
The maps are the hardest for me.
Now you could say, I want to see sold homes within the last 18 months, blah, 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 and now it'll show me the sold homes in that little map search. I can see where the schools are, and I can see the ratings on them as well.
So once you, it's clarification, so once you actually save that search and search it, then that's gonna save all those
Yes.
houses, so you're gonna have,
Yep, if I hit save search here, I'm gonna save this. And I can name it whatever I want to. Betty's Triangle. It would really help if I could spell today. And then if Betty wants to get email alerts for this search, she can get email alerts, or she can say, I don't want email alerts, I just want to see it when I log in.
This is on Zap.
This is Zap, yes. And then that will produce an email to me saying that Betty has saved a search. She's created a triangle.
That's right, it's gonna be hundreds of houses.
So you can see up here where it tells you it's a new one. So you can see, even though you can't discard them, you can still see that it's new. I'm going to try to find one that's a backup or a contingent. I'll go a page or two over. Here. Contingent. So they don't have to click on it and hit show me for you to email them back and say it's under contract. They know right here it's contingent.
Backup's the same thing.
I think backup, there's an open house. I think backup shows the same as contingent. I'll get clarification on that, but I'm pretty sure contingent backup falls into that same. It doesn't say backup, it just says contingent. So what did you all feel like the best features were from each portal, or what did you learn perception-wise that you maybe came in with one perception and it's made you look at things a little bit different? I'd love to hear some feedback and thoughts from you all, because this was all my opinion. What I found. I'd love to hear what you all think after looking at this.
I never looked at CloudStream. I didn't even really know it existed. I had no idea.
I knew it was there, I just had never used it.
I knew they were talking about improving Zap, and now I'm interested to go in and try it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just getting in the damn thing.
You have to remember, it's not as bad as our KCH agent password, but it's still.
To me, it's a combination of the client's view, but the functionality for us and how those two go together.
How to marry that.
I need to wrap my head around how I can share the app more easily, how I can, it seems more app-based than desktop-based.
Yes.
And yet, I don't have an opinion yet.
Yeah, it's.
But thank you for sharing all that. That's huge savings on my, I mean, I just never make time to. figure it
I
out.
didn't either until they asked me to teach this, and I was like, I need to go in and set myself up and
Yeah, play with
see
it.
what it looks like from a buyer perspective.
I think the challenge is gonna be, for me, I have my clients either set up on My Home Search or Matrix.
Mm-hmm.
It's going out now and saying,
Converting them.
time out, let's try this one, you know? And you know, they still, Zillow, Redfin, and Realtor are so easy for them to use and get information.
It's because it looks like CloudStream and it looks like Zap and it has all that content.
Yeah. You know,
So I-
and their question-
Jenna, please.
I was just curious, are you now, when you get a new buyer client, are you going into Zap only?
Yep. And I just changed that about 2-3 months ago. Up until then, it was My Home Search and Matrix.
So do you set them up then?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, just like you would in My Home
Yeah.
Search?
Is it-
Yeah, I set them up. I go in and set them up as a contact in Zap, and then I go in at least do a basic search for them and recommend the search, and then they kind of take it from there.
Does it matter on age bracket?
No, I really thought my perception coming into this experiment was that Zap's better for younger people, for millennials, because it's a little bit more. But I found the exact opposite.
Interesting.
Zap is easy to set up searches. It's very intuitive. My Home Search is not intuitive.
Even if they're using a desktop or.
Even if they're using a desktop, there's almost too many search options, and that's for any age group. I mean, it's overwhelming. And then trying to read that tiny little, the information on a smaller device, whether it's an iPad or a phone, that's tough. That's hard. I think the display and the functionality, I think the reason I had that perception is because Zap is very convoluted on our end,
Right.
on the agent side, because there's so many options. There's so much stuff it can do. I just have to remind myself, I'm going to do the stuff that I want to do in there, and I'm going to do the basic stuff for now and get good at that before I start adding in all the bells and whistles that it has. It's got all the bells and whistles. I don't have to use them all. And my clients aren't going to know if I'm using them or not. But on the client end, it's much, I found it's much more intuitive. And I've taken a couple of people and set them up intentionally on both and told them I was setting them up on both My Home Search and Zap. And asked them, which one do you prefer? Every one of them is Zap. Every one of them. Doesn't matter the age.
That's what I was going to say. So first and foremost, thank you so much. This has been so helpful to someone new because I have gone through an informative session on each of these except CloudStream. And this was very clear, and it helped just to kind of define each of them so much better because everything was running together. So thank you. I was glad I came. And the second thing is the advice I was given by a lot of agents is, because I'm obviously doing all the open houses right now, is give them a choice. Let them choose between which search. And I didn't care for that, being the mother and being in control of my children for all those years. I didn't like the idea of having to not be able to give them the right choice, at least to start with.
Right.
So I really think that going out and doing Zap first is probably what I'm going to start doing from here on through. As you mentioned, they were choosing it.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be the experts, and I'm far from it. But I would like to be able to say, this is your tool. So I think that's one thing I learned from you. So.
Well, thank you for coming. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so since we have Zap and it's getting better, and there's some things I really like about it, but some that, I still like My Home Search for. Do you think that our company will quit improving My Home Search?
No, I think the opposite. Right now, they are in the process of, from my understanding, of revamping My Home Search. They started with our public-facing website. If you look at our public-facing website right now, let me pull it up here. It looks a lot like Zap. Looks a lot like Zap. What they haven't done is gone in and updated the My Home Compare and My Home Search to this new look, but that's coming. I cannot type on this keyboard. So I think that they are going to, I think at some point in time, this is just my prediction. Oh, that's the Zap site.
Zap, right?
There's the Kansas City home site. Totally different look than My Home Search. But this is the front end. This is what people first see when they come into our website, and then they log in to My Home Search, and they get what I've showed you. Totally different look and feel. I think My Home Search will eventually look like this site in the not too distant future, and it'll be very comparable with Zap.
Walkability.
All of those third-party tie-ins, yes. What's going to be frustrating for us as agents is which one do you use?
So why?
And I think there'll come a point in time when one of them will be the horse we ride. But the reason that, just to give you a little bit of background, and this is just for informational purposes only, the reason that My Home Search still looks like it does is because we were in the process of doing this look with our eVantage platform when Zap we were told it was coming out and that corporate was launching it, BHG National was launching it, Realogy was launching it. So we pulled the plug on all the development thinking, well, Zap will come in and be the answer. We don't have to develop it locally if we're going to get this solution that's going to be exactly the same. And when Zap came out, as we all know, it was didn't quite live up to the expectations that we had, and there was so much frustration that our corporate office here locally decided, okay, let's ramp back up and let's give our agents what they need and what they want. Well, in the meantime, Zap has improved as well. So we're a little bit behind because of that. But it's getting revamped from my understanding, and we'll run both of them parallel for who knows how long. There might come a point in time where we say, you know what, they're doing the exact same thing. We're only confusing our agents. Let's shelf this one and ride this one. But who knows? I mean, they could both coexist for a long time.
As far as sellers go, do you ever put a seller in ZAP so they know their, what's going on in their market, or do you still use My Home Compare?
I've done it both ways, and I'm still trying to sort out for myself which one I prefer.
My Home Compare, it seems like you can't narrow down, or you can't adjust the map, or, you know, you just put in their
Yeah.
subdivision, and then you can't control it as well.
It's a little bit more challenging to control, most definitely. Right now, there's not really a good solution, a comparison for My Home Compare, unless you just set them up as you would a buyer, really, is what you do. But My Home Compare is still really the only tool that we have access to that is designed for sellers. There will be a counterpart with ZAP at some point in time, but I don't think it's high on the priority list. I think getting this side of it, the buyer side of it, really ramped up in all those solutions. Does anybody else have any other comments or insights or things that they found?
I have one more question.
Yeah.
I made a list. So when you said that in ZAP, and I think CloudStream, they show the previous sold prices. Does that go back as far as the MLS has sold prices?
We have restrictions on, it doesn't, no. There are restrictions on how long we can display that information. And I think you can go back, I think it's 3 months that we're allowed to display it. We can't go back any further than 3 months, I think is the rule. Don't quote me on that.
Like if it was a flip, somebody bought it for something 3 months ago and it's new on the market.
Well, are you talking about the price change history or the recent sold other properties?
I thought you said, I guess it's called recent. Oh,
The
is it
recent
called
sold.
Recent sold?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I was thinking it was any sold history was being
On the
shown.
property.
And that's not true.
That's being shown on CloudStream. That was the parcel
Oh.
information. So as far back as tax record has, I haven't gone in there. I haven't figured out how long they go
Showed one
back.
from 2006 when you had it up.
Yeah,
That's-
and it could go back.
That's fine.
That's public record, not
That's just-
MLS record.
That's just CloudStream.
Yes.
So if they refi, it's gonna be on there, but then.
Yes. Yep. That's not pulling from MLS. That's pulling from public record.
Oh, that was the mortgage. Yeah, not the sold price, right?
Correct.
Right.
ZAP shows are recently sold. Those, to my knowledge, just go back 3 months. I think that's the MLS rule on how far back we can display. So,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Thank you all for coming. I know it's a crazy week.